The ocean doesn't just swallow ships, sometimes it preserves secrets, bearing entire chapters of human history beneath waves and sediment. In 2025, archaeologists and deep-sea explorers have been pulling back the curtain on just how much we don't know about our collective past, and each shipwreck they uncover threatens to rewrite textbooks, challenge assumptions, and remind us how fragile our perceived knowledge really is. These wrecks are far more than tragic drownings. They're time capsules, frozen moments in human history, and each one forces us to ask, how much of the story have we overlooked? Take the Nanhai One, for example. This Chinese merchant vessel sank sometime between 1127 and 1279, during the Southern Song dynasty somewhere in the South China Sea. When it was rediscovered, the wreck revealed a cargo of precious ceramics, silver bars, a brass kettle, and other trade goods. What made Nanhai One so revolutionary wasn't just the preserved artifacts. It was what they proved. This wasn't just local or regional trade. This ship was part of a vast international network, the Maritime Silk Road. Its sinking suggested the scale and sophistication of trade between China, Southeast Asia, and beyond were far greater than many historians had assumed. Suddenly, centuries-old assumptions about ancient global commerce, cultural exchange, and maritime routes needed revision. Then the remarkably preserved vessel from the deep Black Sea discovered in 2018, the Black Sea Shipwreck, often called the oldest intact shipwreck ever found more than 50 miles off the coast of Bulgaria at depths over 2 kilometers. This ship has challenged long-held beliefs about shipbuilding and ancient navigation. Before this discovery, experts thought no ancient ship could survive centuries submerged in such deep, oxygenless waters. But the preservation of this vessel proves otherwise, meaning our models for how seafaring, trade, and travel developed thousands of years ago might all need rewriting. The rearrangements of history aren't limited to distant ancient seas. Some wrecks are mercantile, others are warships. All carry human stories, and all have deep implications. The Marsala Punic shipwreck, discovered off the coast of Sicily and dating to the 3rd century BC, belongs to the Punic Wars. Excavated in the early 1970s, it provided an unparalleled look into naval life, warfare logistics, shipbuilding craftsmanship, and trade practices of the ancient Carthaginian world. What scholars learned from Marsala revalidated historical texts. But more importantly, it filled in massive gaps. What kinds of ships the Punics used, how those vessels were constructed, and what standard crew life looked like, all of which were poorly documented before such physical evidence surfaced. And more recently, 2024 to 2025 brought even more astonishing revelations. The discovery of a truly ancient shipwreck off the coast of Israel, a Canaanite deep-sea shipwreck dating to roughly 1300 BCE, has shaken assumptions about early maritime capability. Researchers recovered hundreds of amphorae from the Mediterranean seabed at depths reaching 1.8 kilometers, indicating long-distance seafaring and deep-water navigation existed far earlier than conventional narratives suggested. This find implies that Bronze Age sailors weren't just hugging coastlines for safety, they were venturing into open seas, relying possibly on celestial navigation or other technologies. That idea challenges centuries of academic assumptions about the limits of ancient technology and exploration. But these discoveries also remind us that shipwrecks are snapshots of life, not just vessels of trade. They preserve human fingerprints, literally and metaphorically. The residues of ancient food in amphorae, the design choices in a ship's hull, even the repairs made hastily during a voyage. They all hint at the daily decisions, fears, and ambitions of people who lived thousands of years ago. Every recovered artifact adds a voice back into the historical conversation, expanding our understanding not only of what people made, but what they valued. What's perhaps most striking is how much of history could still be hidden beneath the oceans. Technological advances in sonar mapping, submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and underwater scanning software are pushing deep-sea exploration beyond what we might have thought possible just a few decades ago. In fact, in 2025, a new open-source tool called Shipwreck Finder, designed to detect shipwrecks from multi-beam sonar data using deep learning and image segmentation, was released. This kind of tool can systematically scan the seabed for anomalies, helping archaeologists locate wrecks that have lain undisturbed for millennia. It's a sea change in underwater archaeology, no longer relying solely on accidental discovery, but intentionally mapping the hidden layers of our past. And with every discovery, the scope of our ignorance becomes clearer. The sheer variety of wrecks, merchant vessels, ceremonial boats, early warships, Bronze Age cargo carriers, shows that maritime travel was not a fringe activity, but a backbone of early civilization. Some of the newly surveyed wrecks in the Mediterranean and Aegean, for instance, reveal complex trade networks between islands that classical texts barely mention. Other finds off Southeast Asia hint at navigational expertise that predates European exploration by centuries. And still more wrecks, found off the coast of the Americas, may one day challenge what we know about migration patterns long before written history. When wrecks like Nanhai One or the Black Sea Shipwreck surface, they do more than add facts. They expand our understanding of human history's timeline and complexity. They force us to question everything: trade routes, cultural exchange, technology, migration, economy, even the way civilizations connected long before modern transport. They reveal that ancient peoples moved, traded, navigated, and communicated across vast distances, often with greater sophistication than textbooks credit them. They demand nuance, revision, humility, because what we think we know might just be scratch on the surface. It is also a reminder of fragility. The stories we've constructed about who did what, when, and how often rest on fragmentary records, sparse documentation, scattered artifacts, or the survival of texts. But when the sea hides or destroys these records, entire generations vanish, replaced by myth, assumption, or silence. Each wreck recovered is a reclamation of lost memory, a chance to restore voices long drowned, contexts long erased. Every shard of pottery, every coin, every plank of hull could reshape our understanding of a people and a time. And this leads to perhaps the most unnerving thought of all. If these few discovered wrecks already challenge our assumptions, what will happen when we find 100 more? 1,000? The idea that entire civilizations may have risen and fallen along coastlines now submerged by rising seas is no longer speculation, it's an active field of research. Ancient shorelines lie far deeper underwater today than they did 10,000 years ago, meaning the oldest chapters of human history might literally be underwater, waiting. So what does this mean for us now in 2025 and beyond? First, it's a call to pay attention. The oceans cover over 70% of our planet. A vast majority of human history likely unfolded on or around the sea. Trade, migration, conquest, exploration. If even a handful of those stories remain locked beneath waves, our historical understanding is incomplete, perhaps fundamentally flawed. The wrecks we've discovered so far hint that societies hundreds or thousands of years older, more connected, more advanced in navigation and commerce, existed beyond the lands whose records survive. Hit like, because these stories need to be seen. Drop a comment. What historical truth do you think is still hidden under the waves?